Welcome back to Squid Strengths. Now we need to talk about the most dangerous word in Squid Game. It's not eliminated. It isn't even frontman. It's faith. Now episode 8 of season 2 of Squid Game The Challenge was titled Faith. Now on the surface, it may be a nod to our guest today, player 361, but let's look a little deeper. This episode was a masterclass in blind trust perhaps, or maybe there was more to that. Now we saw the Circle of Trust game strip away all the other mechanics besides psychological and emotional. We're gonna dive deeper into learning more about what drove Faith to even get onto Squid Game, nonetheless get all the way to the Circle of Trust, and what may have been, for lack of a better word, that Achilles heel. So I'm sitting down today with a woman whose name is literally in the marquee. She survived such an emotional game like Mingle, and then made it all the way to the Circle of Trust, to only be silenced in a white room. So let's get to it. It's official. Faith, welcome to Squid Strengths. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm just happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been looking forward to having our chat. You have one of the most complete and profound edits of the entire series, and it's just an honor to have you here on Squid Strengths. There's going to be a lot we're going to go into, so I hope you're ready.
I am, and thank you. Netflix was kind to me. I sure did appreciate that.
They were, and we all love you.
Thank you.
So before we get into the psychology of the game, I just want to give you the floor first. Who is Faith? Where are you from? And what are you doing with your spare time?
Yeah, so obviously it's me, Faith, player 361. I live in Oregon. I am a registered nurse, and so I do that pretty full time. I feel like when you're a nurse, it kind of just bleeds into all that you do. But as far as hobbies go lately, honestly, I've been learning how to manage the social media. It's a whole nother full-time job, and I love it, but I'm learning. That's what I've been up to is learning social media.
Well, I'm sure you're getting a lot of pings, to say the least.
Yeah, people are awesome. People have been so loving, and I'm just grateful. I love it. I love everybody.
Well, we love you and we love all of that. So we're gonna now look into your game. You mentioned you're a caretaker, and it sounds
Mhm.
like that's just been who you are, and it shows in your top 5 strengths. You're number one developer, positivity, empathy, relator, and input. What were your first thoughts when you first read those results?
Feel like that's pretty close to how I feel. And I was like, all right, I'll take it. Seems well-rounded enough. I felt happy. I was like, that seems okay to me. I'll take it.
This is your unique blend of strengths, and we'll talk about that and how they show up in your game and what also may not have showed up in the edit too. There's probably a lot that they left out, even though I think we got a lot of faith, which I'm happy about.
I was too. I was grateful. That was pretty cool.
So you lead with empathy, relator, developer, you're natural at nurturing. But from my understand, your story starts with competition. You went to the Squid Game experience in LA and you won your way onto the cast. People like me put in a video and all that kind of stuff, right? The typical path. So how was that for you? And given your strengths, was it hard for you to access, let's call that killer instinct, or do you have this like secret competitive side that we just don't see on the surface?
It's not even a secret. Anybody that knows me well, I am competitive. I like to win. I can't help it. When I went, I was with my friends and I was like, you know what? The goal isn't to win, it's to have a good time with your friends. I was like talking myself down. Immediately I got in there. I was like, I need to win. I just like to win. You never know. It's not even so much that I like to win. I'm very much one of those people that's like, if I'm gonna do something, it's worth doing well. Like if I'm putting myself through something, whether it's little or big, I want to do it well because I'm doing it. So I was fortunate and I won. And I will say, I think that the part of me, it came out at the end because at the end, when you win, they let you make a choice. They say, all right, you can basically kill everybody and take an extra prize. Or you can go ahead and let everybody live and let them have a token, like let them have a little souvenir, and you can just take the prize that you already have. And I literally was like, well, one, I'm a nurse. I feel like I can't just be out here killing the whole squad. And two, I already won. Like, I'm already a winner. Let's share the wealth. And so that's what I did. Like, we all got a little piece. Like, I already won. I felt like that was fine. I didn't need extra. You know what I mean?
You won and you got on the show, and it sounds like you got a lot more than you expected.
That's kind of how my life has played out. I started to have a lot more faith than I did as a kid, as silly as that sounds. I have lived my whole life in fight or flight mode. There's not a time that I can think of where I wasn't worrying about money, bills, abuse, something.
You mentioned how you grew up in Oregon, and I saw that you talked about feeling a quote token in white spaces.
So I grew up in a lesbian household in the early 2000s when people were maybe not as friendly, but I also happen to be a person of color in a family that has no other people of color.
When you see folks who you can relate to more, in strengths language, we call that connectedness, relator, as you would know. Did that create an immediate psychological safety for you, feel grounded? Like, how did that impact you coming into the game where you may not necessarily have expected that?
It made me want to be there more in a different way. Like, obviously, I wanted to be there to win $4.56 million. But then as I was there, I was like, oh, I love this sense of community. I love, and it's not even that I relate easier, it's just different. I relate in ways that I was deprived of. It's not even easier. It's just different ways that I missed out on that sometimes it's like you can only relate with people that also share that lived experience, not even in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me want to
Mm-hmm.
stay like in that feeling of community. Like I felt so at home with them, even though I just met them and it was this crazy environment. Like I wanted to be in that community.
What was one thing that surprised you, given it sounded like you felt more open to be open?
Something that surprised me was just how sharp of a turn when I felt producers or whatnot take an interest in me. Like I very much laid low, just did my thing, wasn't trying to be the loudest, the funniest. And then it was like I didn't have to do anything crazy to stand out. They were sleeping on me and then they realized and then it was like all of a sudden they're pulling me in for mivs. They were paying attention to me more and I was like I knew if I just kept doing my thing and kept fighting the good fight I knew they'd see me. They did. And I felt so validated. Like I didn't have to lie about a baby or do anybody dirty or do anything that would make me feel icky at the end of the day for them to see me. And I felt like that was a win.
When was that turning point for you? When did you notice that they really started to notice you and want to bring you into more of the edit?
I
Potentially,
think
at
it,
least.
yeah, I think definitely around Mingle time. I had a core group of friends, but I really wanted to make sure that I branched out and met as many people as I could, made connections. So I wanted to make it hard for them to miss me. Like, oh, she's everywhere. She's talking to everybody. How can we not put this girl in places? Like she didn't give us a choice.
Did you feel like, even though not necessarily everybody was your ally, did you feel like most of the people in the dorms were your friend?
I wouldn't say friend, but I'm convinced that I can find a little bit of friend in anybody, even people that are like
Mm,
really, really different than me. If like we can just find one thing to be like, hey, and then
yeah,
like we're good. And so I like lead with that. I'm like, okay, even if we're not buddies, we can find one thing to smile together about, and that is a win for me.
that's your positivity high. That's what matters most, right? Is
Yes,
that, everybody has a good quality in
at
them,
least
even if they're
one.
not somebody, at least one, let's hope, at least especially if you're living with them.
Yes, at least one. I can find it. I'm gonna sniff it out.
Out of curiosity, you were there for like probably a couple weeks in that dorm. What was it like for you? And what was the biggest surprise living in that space? And what was something that you felt most comfortable about being in that space?
It was the strangest thing because despite the loss of control and the sense of confinement, I don't think I've ever felt so free, really. Like, that sounds so strange. We were being watched. We were under strict confinement, but I felt free. Like, I wasn't worried about things that I worry about at home. I didn't have a phone. What I got to focus on was making relationships, the vibe of the day, literally just getting by day. I didn't have to worry about grocery shopping or cleaning or cooking. All those things were just set aside, and it was mostly like human connection. And I loved it. I loved every second. Netflix, please put me on any show. There's nothing else I want to do. Like, I loved it. It was so strange to just
Right.
let go of everything and enjoy it.
They were gonna start a campaign, faith on every Netflix reality TV.
Put me in, coach. Put me in. I loved it. I loved it.
Even my fellow O's who didn't get to live in the dorms, we all had a few days in isolation before the game, felt the same way, just even in isolation with nobody else. And then, of course, you were with a couple hundred people, will start to dwindle down. You got to the top 10.
Yes.
And we really think Netflix and Studio Lambert just giving us the opportunity to not just be there, but there's these additional things that we didn't expect, like just a time to reflect. And then for you, it's that time where you don't have to worry about the world around you. Well, this is your world,
Yeah.
and that's what you made it, right?
Yeah, that it was, as a nurse, I'm constantly in control. I'm constantly making decisions. I'll say to my friends and family, like, I have decision fatigue. Like, oh, where do you want to eat? I don't know. I don't care. I make enough decisions. You go for it. Like, make the decisions. And here it was like, I didn't even have to tell anyone I had decision fatigue because they were all made for me. And I was like, okay, tell me where to go. Tell me what to do. I'm your girl. It was funny because like people would need to go to the bathroom like every 5, 10 minutes and they were getting so frustrated. And I was just like, nope, not me. I'm a nurse. I be holding my bladder all day. Like,
Let's
I was
see.
just like, let's film this show. I can stay like this forever. But other people, I understand, they're not trained to like hold their bladder for all day like I have.
So it sounds like you're ready for red light, green light. You're definitely ready for a six-legged. From what I understand, six-legged took a while. Like it took an extra day to film. So that sounds like you were ready. You were ready for the endurance part of that challenge.
Yeah, the beans were already spilled. I think someone shared they were on a 4x4 team. Like it was 5-on-5, and I heard someone else mention they were on 4x4. Well, I was on a 3x3. So we started at Gongi and then played
um,
those 3 games. And I did House of Cards, but despite that, we're chained together. We were still going against another team. I don't know why I thought House of Cards was going to be way easier than it was. I don't know what I was thinking. Somehow I got through it.
You did, and thankfully you did. It sounds like it was still fair.
We
Oh.
played the same games head to head. It felt very fair to me. I'm sure other people that had to do 5-on-5 were like, I don't know, that's not fair. But in my defense, when everybody was making these teams, I feel like this is important to mention because it's part of like the motto that got me through. Everyone said, they said make a team of 10. Immediately, people did that human thing where they look at the strongest person. Oh, look, they're muscular. They look fast. They look whatever. They did like just human nature. That's exactly what people did. They're like, who looks like the most athletic person that I can have on my team? I immediately was like, let me see what team comes to me. And I stood right in my spot and I was like, all people will come. I got the most unathletic looking team ever and we were chilling. Come to find out, we go head to head. So these people that did what they did, they're going against their friends, they're going against some seriously strong, crazy people. That didn't happen to me because I didn't put myself in that position because I actively was like, don't do that. Don't do that because I know I don't always look like the fastest or most athletic, but I would surprise some people. So that's how I played the whole game. Like I very much was like, do not do the thing that humans automatically want to do without even trying to be that way. Don't do that. And it paid off every time.
It sounded like you had a lot of intuition. Also, you actually understood the game. Because if we remember even season one, and this season is even way more social, but if we remember season one, it had nothing to do with strength. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like tug of war from the drama became warships. They're very much a strategic and a social game, more so than a
Exactly.
physical game.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
people, as much as they saw the first season, it's still that human nature. You look with your eyes and you're like, there you go. And I was just like, no, no,
Hmm.
no, no, that's not what this game is about. They wouldn't bring all of these people of different ages, sizes, abilities. They wouldn't bring us all together to make it unfair like that. I don't think so. So I tried to keep that in mind.
And it worked out. So that was the six-legged. Let's talk. Well, let's just go in order of the
Yeah.
games since we saw you more at the latter half, but we see a bits and pieces of you in the earlier games. So in catch, I think I saw a flash of you when one of the players, the player that refused to catch Viper's ball.
Yes. And there was a lot more beef than they showed.
Let's talk about the tea.
This is the worst, most cowardly move that you could make.
I'm not turning around. It doesn't matter.
I'm choosing you.
Okay, so here we go.
Okay, let me tell you, because as much as I do feel for my fellow human, at the same time, sometimes someone needs to tell me and I need to learn and do better. Especially as a nurse, I advocate for people. Sorry, if I have to make somebody uncomfortable to make sure that my patient is fine, that's what I'm going to do. Like, we're all going to be uncomfortable until this patient's taken care of. Viper was at the back of my line and he caught that ball. That was like crazy that he caught the ball. And then here is this guy. He's closest to Viper. He clearly has probably the most athletic ability based on appearances. Who really knows? He was in the best position to catch Viper's ball. And Viper just did this incredible thing. Mind you, old people, young people, tall people, short people, everybody that was called upon to take their turn, even if they argued a little bit, they took their turn. Nobody turned their back. And this guy turned his
Hmm.
back. I was
Yep.
outraged. I was outraged. I was yelling at him, but everybody was yelling at him. But I said something that triggered him. I said something that got under his skin to the point where he had to target me. He said, I'm doing this for my team. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for my team. And I said, you're not doing this for your team. You're doing this because you're scared. And he turned around and he looked me dead in my eye. He said, "You shut up, you fat ass." I said, "I would rather be a fat ass than a pussy." And then it erupted. It erupted. And people were like, "Oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry." And I was like, I've had stupid people call me fat so many times in my life. I don't give a damn. I've always struggled with my weight. So all of that put together, it really makes you have a thick skin as you go throughout life and experience people that may have an issue with all of those things. What I got from that, I felt so loved. People were ready to fight this guy. People were ready to take him out. People like the way that the rest of the cast showed up, made sure I was okay, have my back. I was like, you guys are real ones. Like, I felt loved. What I got from that was like, damn, these people have my back, and I felt loved. It was beautiful. It strangely was a beautiful thing.
That is beautiful, man. Okay,
Yes.
that's the kind of tea we have on Squid Streaks, right?
Yeah, I was like,
I love it.
I think Netflix, in their defense, I think they were being very kind. I don't think they wanted to highlight a person treating me like that. I don't think they had bad intention by not showing it. So Netflix Studio Lambert, like, please, I don't have a negative thing to say about them. I just felt
Oh, of
like
course.
I could have handled it. I'm tough. And if they would have showed it, I could have handled it. And I would have held my head high on that one. Like, I would rather be fat than cowardly. And so as I've aged, I think a strength of mine is my ability to be empathetic, to feel for my fellow human, and to make decisions based on how I would want to be treated if I was in their position.
You know what? If you're someone that has presence, you're somebody that makes a statement, you're somebody that's gonna be known, well, you're gonna see me, bitch.
Yes. Yes. I was fired
Whether you like it or not.
There's
that's
more for you to
that's
see.
the way I would say. There you go. And that really is true. So let's continue on. Well, I've had the chance to talk with a couple of your other castmates, August and Isaiah, and
Love
they both
them.
mentioned you. Yeah.
I love them both.
Oh, well, let's talk about them too. I know this might be a little surprise for them when they see this. So you played the role of caretaker more than once, but they also played the role of caretaker for you. So for example, let's talk about Mingle. I interviewed August, and he said, among other people in that last room, which you even mentioned something, made the edit, that August said something, I don't know who my alliance is, and you said, well, now you do.
I came in here and I was like, because I don't have like a set alliance, so the moment I came in here,
Now you do.
And he told me point blank, that final room that he was in, that Faith was in the room. He mentioned a couple others. Faith in the room. Faith is a nurse. She's always putting herself before others. So one of the reasons he stepped out and sacrificed his game is because he believed you deserved to stay.
People got kind of scary throughout Mingle. It was an insane social experiment. When it came down to the moment, there's some really good friends in here that I had planned on making it far with. There's some people in here who have more back at home relying on them. Faith was a nurse. She's always putting others before herself. I don't want to be the reason these people go out, because here's the thing. If I didn't leave, all 16 people would be eliminated. In the heat of the moment, 16 people are going home because one person messed up the plans. And out of those 16 people, there was 4 people I thought they deserved to go home. I thought they deserved to move on. So I was like, I know myself. I'm strong. I will be fine. So I was actually the first one in the room. I had to find my way up front, and I stepped out the room.
Sorry, I got emotional because I really love August, and they didn't show it, but I cried. They had me in a room and I was crying because he didn't deserve to go out like that. I loved August, and then someone said, why did he step out? Why did he do that? I was like, because he's a good person. Even though he didn't say he was doing that for us, you knew it, you felt it. Like, if I ever were to come up in a way like that really was significant, I know who I'm sharing with. So many moments we had, like, where we both voted O together to keep all those people that were on the stage, and we were talking, we're like, nah, karma's real. If that was us up there, we know what we'd want people to do. August is a special person, and I love him, and hopefully one day I can repay him for that moment.
Well, maybe we can bring you all back on Squid Strings and talk more about how you all played together. There's already a lot, even just in the few episodes I've had, he mentioned he had a lot of skin in the game because that finale included you, or close to the finale at least, and included you. So the whole story would have been different if he didn't step out.
There were some people in that room. Faith was in that room. Faith got all the way to Circle of Trust, right? It's kind of uplifting to know that what I saw in the people that made me step out was true because they proved me right by making it so far and making entertaining TV.
It would have. He did that for us. That's what I mean. If I could ever repay him in any way, I'll never forget those types of things, like people that helped you get to where you were going. I wouldn't have made it to top 10 had he not made a sacrifice like that. That doesn't go over my head. I know it. I know it. I got a list of people that if when I make it, they're gonna make it too.
And let's just clear up the room. That the end of Mingle, was that scripted or was that just a complete amazing coincidence that everybody ended up in twos and then everybody said, nope, we're not going to run into rooms?
So it was not scripted by the cast. Do I think Netflix had to go with a different narrative than they wanted to originally because we were crashing out? Absolutely. I would say Netflix, but I mean like Studio Lambert and Netflix.
Sure. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
alluded to
Yeah.
it when they put out a video that they were shocked at how we acted. But they had like a plan. They had an anticipation of how we would behave, of how things would go. And we did not fall into the category. So no, we were at our wits' end. There was a point where I looked in the camera. I was like, please, please let us stop playing. You guys are so smart and intelligent. You guys can think of another game. I know you can. Like, we were begging to stop. So I think that they did plan for us to play marbles, but when they saw what we were doing and how we were responding, they pivoted a little bit and changed how we were presented the marbles in order to like make sure we didn't completely lose it, make sure nobody would get hurt, and also give a good show. But no, it was not staged in any way.
Yeah. I read an article that Studio Lambert said that they would have given you the marbles through the slot
Yeah.
if you ended up in the room, and it was an even number of people on purpose. Well, that clears up that. Was there anything else from either Mingle or Marbles that you want to discuss?
Yeah, so there was some confusion that, like, even amongst the people that I played Mingle with. So there was a scene in there where I screamed for Natalie, player 75. I was like, Nat! Nat, get over here! And the reason I was yelling for her specifically is because, and she'll admit it, she was playing a hard game. She was saying door 3 and putting up 4. She was like playing the game. So before that happened, our group had agreed this is the plan. My goal was to make sure that I got myself and Natalie where we needed to be for the plan. Natalie immediately went outside the plan. Everybody scrambled. We ended up in rooms that we were supposed to end up in. And it looked like I was just like calling Nat over everybody, but I was just trying to keep her on track. And it just looked crazy. But I'm a loyal person. And so I just, like, my core group that I was there with, like, there was a moment, there's one other thing I have to say. Like, there was a moment where a player said, let's do rock, paper, scissors. Whoever ends up in the room last, let's do rock, paper,
Yes.
scissors. I looked him dead in the
Yeah.
eye and I said, I absolutely can't do that. It's easy for you to say that when you know you're going to be in that room before me, but I can't agree to that. Whereas people I was playing with were like, oh, I would have said yes and then lied and not done it. It's like, so I don't know how else to prove to like my core group of people that like I'm not one to go behind your back. Like, I'm going to tell you in your face the honest truth, and
Yeah.
like that's how it is. So there was moments like that that didn't get shown, but Mingle changed me. I got PTS something after Mingle, and yeah.
Wow. Well, I do think I recall someone saying in your room, rock, paper, scissors, and who goes. And was that you in the voiceover saying, like, basically no?
Yeah, no,
Somebody in the voiceover said no.
no.
And in my interview with August, and he mentions this in the edit, that he was the numbers guy and he loves numbers. And he mentioned that the plan got messed up in some way. I'm saying it in my
Yeah.
words. Was this one of the folks that, for whatever reason, didn't follow the plan and kind of led to the cascading effect?
It's hard to remember what happened exactly what round, but it was things like that where we had a plan and somebody made a plan with another group and through that plan, so then the numbers would be off. August was always right about the numbers. It was the people making up the numbers that were not reliable. They say, oh, we'll come with you. There they go to a different room. And then you're like, okay, our numbers are not good now. That happened to a variety of people a variety of times. I can honestly say there was never a time I said I'm going in a room with you and I went into another room on purpose or deceptively, ever.
Wow. Well, I really wanted to play Mingle, but now, like at the same time, I know, but at the same time, oh.
What happened to the O's was wrong. What happened to the O's was wrong. I don't think that was an okay way to go out. That would have upset me a lot. I'm so sorry.
Well, Would you like to share any thoughts on that before we continue?
Yeah, I think the O's got robbed. I think it's crazy that only so few people had control, and it's just so much was out of you guys' hands. And so when I was on
Yeah.
the X side, and of course I celebrated, but immediately after my celebration, I felt like my heart hurt because I thought about you guys and about how things must be over there, and I just felt sad and happy because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a good win, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for me, like having been an O, I just think it could have been an episode. So this was a 9 episode season when last season was 10. There must have been a decision where there was a full episode where the O's, you actually got to know more of us instead of just Ida, which bless her heart, like that wasn't the full story, of course, like there was
course.
obviously a lot that happened in that room, but for lack of better words, based on the edit and based on me getting chat with more exes, y'all pretty much got your shit together for the most part, and we never got our shit together. And you can listen to The Fate of O's Part 2, and we talk extensively about what was happening in that room, but we never got our shit together in that room. Also, based, again, on the edit, I think you guys had the better twin.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree.
Can leave it at that, but you can see in the edit, you can see in the edit. One twin was very at least like, yes, no, that sounds crap. So we talk about that in our Fate of O episode 2. So
We had the dominant twin.
Part 2. You definitely did. If only I could have just said no.
Switch twins right now.
No. Switch twins. And no, we wouldn't have any of these other storylines. Well, I'll say that. I think this is where it gets very interesting. So it seemed like your marbles game was shown very briefly. It seemed very peaceful.
Yeah, I gotta
Like,
say.
was it really that like, yeah, let's just throw it into this, little bucket thing and first 3 wins? Like, it just seemed like, okay.
Like literally,
There wasn't much drama.
That's what I was gonna say when you said, "Is there anything else I want to say about marbles?" I just have to give a shout out to player 102, Emily. We looked at each other. We're like, "Okay, so we're gonna throw it." We had no argument, no drama. We're like, "Okay, so do you want to draw a line? Yeah, we'll draw a line. First to 3, yeah, first to 3." Like no struggles, and like she was just like so laid back. She wasn't like crying. She's like, "Don't worry, Faith. Like I came for the experience. Like it's all good." So yeah, like I said, I got lucky, but I also felt not like blessed, guided, whatever you want to say. Like I just that kind of
Yeah.
stuff kept happening, and I was like, so then I went back for marbles, and I was like, yeah, da-da-da-da. I was like happy, and everyone comes in like. I took out my friend, and I'm like, listen, I'm not cold. Emily's chill going home, I swear. It was funny.
You know what? That's also the positivity in you, right? Like positivity strength, I think, is very versatile. It can manifest in many different ways. And also you had your empathy high. Like you naturally were like, it's okay. She probably also is a very reasonable person and understood that. I'm speculating here, but I think production expected Marbles to have more drama like the last season.
Yeah.
And this time it wasn't less drama. It was emotional for many people, but it wasn't very dramatic per se.
No, we probably disappointed them. Probably disappointed the world. But I don't know. I think the Mingle thing, I think it had unexpected effects on us psychologically that played into how marbles went. Like we joke about it and stuff, but Mingle really, I don't know. It like put you in a state of mind that you wouldn't ever really normally be in. It really shook you up. Like shook you up. So then we got to these marbles and it was like we had been through actually something traumatic. And it's like we almost didn't have the energy to come with the drama or something.
Oh, you got one.
I got one.
You got it?
I did.
You're good.
Player 102 eliminated.
Another player I sat down with was Isaiah. So he was the center of what I call the monitor moment. I asked him if he survived, if he was not blindsided, who would he want to team up with on slides and ladders? And without hesitation, he said, probably would have chose Faith.
Had I gotten that chance to choose, I probably would have chose Faith 361. We had some real cool moments leading into that big hall monitor moment. And that was when I really got to know her, got to trust her, and really just get to know this beautiful person.
How you feeling?
Not gonna lie, like I am confident. I feel up there. I feel like a contender in this. I really do.
You
like,
are.
Like, let's get it, you know?
You have been killing the game.
Thank you.
And being a good person.
There's a reason why she has a whole episode named after her. So
No, isn't that amazing for her? Like, wow, I
That's
saw that. I'm like, you go,
amazing.
girl, let's go.
That's awesome. This guy was probably one of the biggest strategists in the room, and he wanted not to be with someone who necessarily was a pure strategist, but somebody who is kind at heart. Does hearing that validate your game in a way, knowing that you brought a lot of social and psychological safety that was valued by your fellow players?
That means the world to me. That makes me happy because I think people can tell I'm intelligent, but also have a heart. At the end of the day, like, you got to have somebody that has your back, right? And I honestly trusted Isaiah. When Isaiah was in the position of hall monitor, I felt safe. I was like, you know what? I don't think he's going to come for me. I think he'll try to avoid having other people come for me. Like, I just trusted him. I felt like he proved himself. I didn't feel like he was playing any sort of like, I'm a good guy faking it. Like, I really got good guy vibes from him. Like, nobody's perfect, but I liked having him in a position of power. I felt safe. And when he left, I was so sad. I felt like he was one of my strongest allies in the game, like low key, but for real. And I was really sad. And then Claire said what she said, and I told her, I was like, you know what, I appreciate the honesty. I see why what he said was threatening to you. I felt duped because I was like, really? Like, once I watched the show back and I saw how he said it, I was like, okay, that seems like the Isaiah I know. That seems to make more sense. It made more sense when I saw it. So I think that Claire heard it and she took it maybe in a different way than he intended. And so I think she acted with like her best sense of what she knew best. But I don't think Isaiah necessarily meant it how it came across. And so it was sad for me when he left. I loved having him in a position of power, and he was an alliance that I appreciated having. Like, I wouldn't have wanted
Yeah.
others in that position of power.
Isaiah gave me the behind the scenes, and you can go back to that episode of Squid Strengths. And essentially, he said that scene where he was mentioning that it's basically every man for themselves. I'm paraphrasing. That was like the third conversation among the new set of monitors over a 2-hour time span. And so he was echoing essentially what the others were saying. So that was a collaborative discussion. And I'm speculating maybe he said it in a way that was interpreted differently than his intention, and that's intention versus impact. But from what I understand, he mentioned that everybody was basically saying the same thing, and perhaps it was just not interpreted the way he intended.
He was a threat. He was a threat. I didn't feel threatened because I was lucky to call him a friend. He was a threat. He definitely could have won that game. I think in the show, we were sitting there talking, and they said, besides us, if someone's going to win this game, who was it? And I said Isaiah instantly because he had the ability to win. I think highly of him. And I also, I love Claire too. So I think it was just, like you said, intention versus impact. Like, I think it just missed a little bit.
In another world, we would have seen you two battle out at red light, green light.
I'd have been happy to do it. And like Perla said, it wasn't about speed. It wasn't about speed.
Attention players. Welcome to your 5th game, Slides and Ladders.
But you know, something they did mix up, and it looked really cool on TV. We gotta talk about Slides and Ladders, because it looked really cool. And we didn't get to see so much of Faith in that game. We got to see other players, particularly Perla.
Yeah, I felt like I spent a lot of the game being a little cheerleader. They showed me a few amounts being like, it's okay, good job. Like, but I just spent most of the time just like, you know, telling people it's okay, clapping, just like supporting. All right, I'm manifesting this 6, y'all. I'll take a 3.
Let's go. Hey, that's okay. We skip the shoot and we skip this.
That was my favorite game. Deja and I, even though it became Perla's like moments, like we ended up having 3 twist spaces.
Oh, God.
Go back 1 space or send a team to square 42.
Oh, what's 42?
That's the pass.
Damn. Hey, you guys are already at top.
Blue, you already, it makes no sense.
I love you guys.
Makes no sense.
I love you guys.
Doing this good karma is just going to come back and get us.
Congratulations, Blue Team.
That game was very active for us, and we had, like, it really just made us closer as like an alliance.
Choose a team to join you on this square. Come on, Yellow. You're the closest, Mama. Come join us.
Oh, there was a moment where Steven yelled up at us because we had an advantage card. He yelled up and he said, "Don't forget about Mingle." And I snapped back. I said, "Don't guilt trip me." And that's probably part of what made Stephen come for me in Circle of Trust, because I told him not to guilt trip me. I have this thing, like, I don't like when people do something for me and charge me for it, but don't tell me I owe them. Like, I didn't ask you to do that, and now I owe you, and you didn't even tell me I had a bill? Damn, like, I don't like that.
So he's kind of quid pro quo. Not surprising for a poker player.
My bad. Like, I should have known. That was my bad.
It's like, well, if you scratch my back, I scratch your back, then I expect it to be back. But, well, yes, I mean, it definitely did look like that.
I can't watch. Baby, we're going home.
Congratulations, Green Team. You have passed the game.
Your connection with Deja transcended and moved forward into the circle of trust.
Just happy that I still have one of my closest alliance here, player 361 Faith. I trust her completely. So with the numbers being this small, I know that it's important to have somebody that close with you still in the game.
So how are you feeling so far?
I'm good. I love chatting. How are you feeling?
I want to give folks a different experience with Squid Strings, and maybe afterwards I'm happy to share a little more about what I do and like why I'm doing this in this way. I don't want this just to be a recap on its own. I want this to really go into psychology, and that's what you're giving. And I think you got that as well. Like you understood, like, okay, you got the assignment, like let's go deep into psychology.
I do have a minor in psychology. I got my minor in psychology. I like it.
There you go. We're applying it. All right. And that's where we're going to hit the pause button for this week. We've covered the dorms, the alliances, and survived the absolute emotional roller coaster of Mingle. And how amazing was it to bring back August and Isaiah into the conversation today? That right there is the magic of Squid Strings. It's truly the only place where we don't just recap the show. We dig deep into the psychology of the players. We explore how our strengths intertwine, how they clash, and how they shape the game in ways you can't see on the surface. You are not going to see any of this level of detail, any of this type of analysis anywhere else. But trust me, we're just getting started. You do not want to miss part 2 next week. We'll be diving straight into the episode literally titled Faith. We're entering the circle of trust, and Faith holds nothing back. We're talking about the truth regarding player 183, Steven. Was he a villain? Was he a friend? Faith reveals the complex duality of that relationship and the strategy behind it. Plus, she spills the tea on an explosive confrontation that happened right after that gift box hit her desk. Moments that never made it into the final edit. This is a masterclass in resilience and the double-edged sword of trust and faith. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any moment of it. I'm Coach Bryant Raymond, player 164. See you next week for part 2 of The Cost of Faith.